What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some more Watcher of Realms, and today we're going to do something a little stupid. We're actually going to summon on these banners, which, if you're asking for my personal opinion, I would say do not do this. Absolutely do not do this. The only reason I'm doing it is because this account doesn't use legendary heroes, it only uses epics. So when we pull isn't nearly as important as somebody who is going to utilize all those legendary heroes. So, there's nothing really special on the banner. It's not a huge deal for us. But since we do have Wukong coming out in like just a little over a week, I would say you should absolutely be skipping this event in its entirety. There's really nothing here. I mean, there's really like nothing here you should be spending for. Like essentially, 1+1 can be nice, but like a limited hero is much, much nicer, right? The odds you get two Dookie heroes here, pretty high, right? The odds you get Wukong here, 0%. Literally can't happen. So I would say definitely wait. Even on this banner here, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you get to pick whatever hero you want. Obviously, this excludes Lord heroes, and I also believe it excludes heroes that are exclusive to the Ancient Summoning Pool. So heroes like Ingrid and stuff, you can't actually choose here. Could be wrong on that, but I think that's how it was actually worded in the event topic. So you're not going to be able to pull like super crazy heroes here, but I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have LON, I need LON, so I'm going to pull on this banner. And I mean, power to you, do what you want to do. But the way I look at things like this is, Leia here, or is that her name? Lyra? Not Leia. There's a Leia and a Lyra. This chick, even if she's really good, she's going to be available forever, right? She's not going away. She's going to just enter the summoning pool, and anytime you're doing summonings, you'll have a chance to get her, right? So unless you're like really just trying to grind out like an A5 as soon as she drops, there's really no point, because you will be able to get one later. Same with Elowen. She will drop eventually for you. It's just kind of how the game works. Whereas Wukong, you're only going to see him during the limited events. It's the only time you can get him. So for me, saving up and summoning on those events just makes a lot more sense. You're welcome to do whatever you want, but I will be skipping all of this on my main account and just waiting for Wukong and then going nuts on that. So, cooperate with me. Today, we're going to drop some summons. I'm not going to go through everything that I have. I've got about, what is that? That's nearly 300, plus I got 100 blues. So I've got around about 400 summons. We're only going to drop 200 today, and then we'll save the rest until we actually get a banner with some good epics on it. But I just want to do a little summoning for a couple of reasons. The big reason here, actually, call me crazy, is I have like no purple dusts for this account. I can't even find any. Like, it just doesn't, it almost never pops up in the tie to get like 20. It's like, that's awesome. I can do like upgrade. When your account is based around epic heroes, I need epic skill dust. I honestly wish I could like sell off legendary skill dust and buy purple dust, right? Why there's not like a dust exchange system in the game, I will never know. There's no need to have 20,000 blue dusts. I would love to scale that up to purples, but I need it. I'm just almost dead out of it. Purple crystals are great. I would assume with 200 summons, we're going to end off somewhere around here. So we'll get a few gems and stuff like that as well, which is great. But I need dust. I'm just a dust peasant right now. So let's go ahead, jump in, and start dropping some 10 pieces. We've got about 110-ish summoning crystals, and then we'll drop the other 90 out of our diamonds. And then hopefully we'll get something good. So I'm not going to summon in the 1+1. I know I could get 2 legendary heroes for sure this way, but I don't think I've ever actually in my life pulled on a crazy banner for 2x legendary hero chance. So the odds we don't get a legendary hero is 0%. We will definitely still get one because of pity, but you never know. We could get 2. We could even get more than that. So we're going to summon here today just for funsies and see what happens. Maybe we'll get something good. Maybe we won't. Really, we're just hunting for epic copies. So let's get into it. See what our first 10 pulls looking like. We're already jumping into a perps key, so I love to see that. That's a good start. Of course, it's, oh, hey, never mind. I take everything I said back. I'm happy. Give me those 50 diamonds. Bam. Nice. But we just got like 10 Azoths in the last event. We have a freaking buttload of this guy. I guess we'll talk about him a little bit just because. The only thing I can think on this account that I might end up using him for is the continuous damage. So in like the Arbiter of Frost, he may end up being somebody that I build and use for that, simply because he does have a burning effect that he has 100% uptime on. He will always be burning somebody, which is kind of nice. I could even use him maybe in like Gear Raid 1 a little bit. I don't really know how useful he's going to be in the post-Stage 18 world there, but maybe we can get something to happen. I don't know. But he's not, in my opinion, like a super crazy great hero. I will probably end up using him for the Infernal faction trial as well, just because we're going to need him. Because we're going to need everybody we can to get that as high as we can. But Nasandi here, Nasandi, I don't know how you say it. Nis. Old Nissy here. Alright, she's actually a pretty solid hero. So, she's an attack-based healer. It's kind of a downside to her. In my opinion, attack-based healers, while they're great, they're harder to build tanky, which in a lot of content, you do want them to be a little tankier, especially like Guild Boss 2. But she has a nice little benefit here of being a cleanser. So this is great. She actually dispels debuffs on your team, and she has a bit of a different attack range than Medan does. So you can kind of overlap them. If, like, for me personally in Guild Boss 2, one cleanser's not enough. The poisons will just take me out. I'll probably need a second cleanser to do a cleanse after the first one does, because I kind of lack that DPS punch just to like blow through phase 3. So pulling her is really, really nice for that. But also, her ult, when she pops it, her basic attack starts to bounce. So it calls it AoE healing. I guess that's because her immediate pop of her ult does heal everybody in range one time. But the bounce is kind of interesting because it can bounce outside of her attack range, which is kind of cool. So she doesn't necessarily have to be touching the hero. If there's a hero here that needs healed and she heals it, it can bounce to people that are outside that range. So it's kind of nice. She also gives you an attack speed boost on the heroes in range. It's not like a crazy huge one, but it's not bad either. I mean, extra 50 attack speed's never a bad thing. And I believe it lasts for, 12 seconds with a 40-second cooldown. Cooldown's kind of long, but it's not a bad deal. It's just a little bit of support there. It's not a terrible thing. For Awakens, that's going to bump that up to a 16-second duration instead of 12. Again, that's just nice. So you have a HP, flat HP. It's not an attack boost, but it does make her tankier, and that's not bad. And when you place her on the field at all, it boosts everyone's attack speed by 30, so when you pair that with her Mania, she can essentially give everybody on the field just 80 extra attack speed, which is kind of nice. Not a bad deal at all. 5% attack, that's just going to make her heal a little bit better. And then anytime she casts her ultimate, it automatically triggers Mania, so that's cool. Right, just instant attack speed boost when she pops her ult. I believe that affects her as well, so her attacks will happen a little bit faster. Could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But a solid epic healer. We will end up using her probably for sure in Gear Raid 2. Or not Gear Raid 2, Gear Dungeon 2. Just kidding, not even Gear Dungeon 2, Guild Boss 2. I'll get there. My brain's not great. Let's go ahead and drop our second 10 bomb here. We did just pull like a legendary hero in our last 10 pull before this, so we're not even close to a pity timer. That's why I figured we just run out 200, and if we get, all the way to pity, we do. It's just the way it's going to be. Look at almost all blues there. That's nice. Love to see that. That's quite a few diamonds getting refunded. There we go. We got another purple. That's great. Love to see it. I'd love to see maybe some malls pop up this event. Some greeds would be great. A Voroth. Now, there... Got our mall. All right, so Voroth, I haven't actually built this guy yet. I'm debating doing it just because I do have a Solde, which is a Northerner Lord. I already run Estrid, who is a Northerner who does very good damage. But this guy's a very fast attacking unit. He does have some AoE kind of built into his kit when he takes damage. So I'm not sure how powerful he's going to be because I've never built one all the way up. But I'm thinking there's a chance I could use him in places like Gear Raid 1, where it's all about AoE damage, and just kind of putting him on that front line, letting him take some hits, and hope that he can put out enough damage to kind of help bring down some of those enemies, because they're very, very tanky. So we'll see. That could be something for him. He has an insane amount of attack speed with his ultimate. He just boosts it to the freaking moon. Doesn't last very long. I guess 15 seconds at full upgrade, and it's a very high-cost skill. It does go down to 900, which isn't terrible, but it starts out way up there. So without the skill crystals into him, you're not getting that ult very often, right? It's going to take a minute. He does have a chance to land 2 consecutive hits, kind of like Estrid. It's a lower chance. I think hers is 25% chance or 20% chance or something. I don't think it's 30. I could be wrong on that, though. Don't quote me. But 15%, so not a huge chance to land 2 hits, but you can. And he also has a specialized attack speed. So attack speed is actually stronger on him than on other heroes. Although I'm not really sure how effective it is, because I'm assuming there's going to be a cap to it. And he's going to, when he pops that ult, there's almost no way he doesn't reach it almost immediately. Just an instant 800 speed boost to his attack is crazy. And then it also, every time he attacks, it boosts his attack speed by 100, stacking up to 1400. So the dude's just like a machine gun of single target attacking. So we'll see. I might think like the Immortal Codex is a boss for hitting them and breaking their shields. He could be really great for that. His ult might just break that shield really quickly, so maybe a niche use there, but we'll see. I'm not really 100% sold on building him right away. He's just kind of in the back of my head as a potential possible. Maul, of course, if you don't know Maul, I don't know what you've been doing. He's a freak. Probably one of the best epic heroes there is. Super great AoE damage, which is great. You love to see that. It's really good for Gear Raid 3. Really good for a lot of content, honestly. His ultimate hits really, really hard, which is, again, really, really nice. It also knocks back enemies, which is great. I might be able to utilize this in Gear Dungeon 2 later down the road when I need to move those Spectres back out of the way so they don't kill my units. But he also has a freeze when you awaken him on this, and that range, look at that range. It's disgusting. It's insane. It's ridiculous. But on top of that, the Salt Erosion is, of course, great as well. It has a fairly high uptime on it, actually. It's everything, or whatever, 20 seconds for 10 seconds, so 50-50 uptime, that's not too bad. It boosts his attack up to 200% when you have it upgraded, which is great. It inflicts defense reduction on people, which is obviously nice. That's never a bad thing. It makes him just hit a little bit harder. It also increases the range of his splash damage to hit even more people. And when you awaken him, which we're going to be doing now, because this is your freeze on A1, some crit rate on A2, A3. This is what we just got because we had ours at A2 already. His Salt Erosion now also slows enemies. So when you have big packs of enemies, they're getting slowed down, they're taking more damage, gives them more time to build that ult up, throw a fish at them, and just smoke them all to death. Super great. Some penetration, never a bad deal, you love to see that. And then, of course, the Awaken 5 to me, actually a pretty big deal. He's a very high-cost hero, so losing 5 cost on that is very nice. Brings him way back down to a way more deployable range. 22 is a lot to save up in a lot of stages, but having that down to 17 will be super nice. So really, really, really happy to pull that. That's our A3. Glad I decided to summon today. It's gone okay so far. So we'll drop another 10 bomb here. Looks like it's going to be all blues, so we can kind of just speed through this, do the old quick flip. Nothing crazy there. One of these days, I want to pull all greens just to get the achievement for it, because it's statistically not very likely. I'd just like to do it to have it done. Let's drop another 10 bomb here, see if we're going to get anything great. Looking like just blues all again. So go ahead and just double flip those. Bam. Not a big deal. Keep running them out. We're only, what, 40 summons deep? Wow, we have not summoned a lot. There we go. Got ourselves a Perpski. Love to see it. It's going to be Azoth. No, it's not. We did get a Harpoon. We got, holy crap. What? It is an Azoth. He's in there. He's always in there somewhere. He's always sneaking his way in. Harpoon. We may end up building this guy as well. I know a lot of people talk crap on him. Look at that tiny little crossbow. You think they would have gave bro a slightly bigger crossbow. He is a humongous fish. But he's very single target oriented. He does prioritize airborne units, but he has kind of an execute built in. So the lower, if they have low HP, he does more damage to them. That's nice. That's never a bad thing. Just kind of helps finish things off a little bit quicker, which is never a bad deal. It does have an auto skill, but it comes back insanely fast. Very, very quick to come back. And it does a decent amount of damage. So it's not like a terrible ult. It's just, since he's auto popping it so rapidly, you know, is what it is, right? It's not going to be insanely high damage. That would be kind of broken. But if he kills somebody with that ult that he gets fairly often, he boosts his attack speed, which is great, for 5 seconds. It does get boosted up to a 10-second increase with a 150 extra attack speed. So when he kills someone with his ult, he attacks very fast. That's going to kind of build back up his ult even faster to cast it again. He can kind of chain those things together pretty well, which is nice. His awakens are kind of interesting. His A1... when he's shielded, his attacks ignore 30% of the target's defense. That sounds nice. He is a northerner, so you do get shields on him in a variety of different ways. But it doesn't really shine until his A5. His A2, some crit rate, never a bad deal. Anytime he kills somebody with arrow bombardment, not only is he going to get that attack speed boost from his passives, he's also going to regain 80 rage, which is like a third of his ult, which is pretty crazy. So he can essentially chain that ult pretty indefinitely, which is kind of nice on like lower HP units. Just an extra attack speed boost, never bad. But the Awaken 5 here, anytime he does a critical hit, he gives a shield to himself that can absorb 25% of his max HP as damage. Makes him a little tankier, of course, but also it's going to always proc this. So essentially, this hero will always have a 30% defense penetration once he's Awakened 5 times. And that's actually pretty solid. So he gets a lot of crap for not being a great hero, but I think he's definitely slept on and could be actually a pretty solid single-target DPS. Vortex, everyone knows Vortex, really, really solid epic hero. HP-based healer makes him very easy to build to be tanky, things you love to see. A little AoE heal. I think he has an AoE, yes. Yeah, he does a little AoE heal when he pops his ult, but the great thing about this guy is pretty much every time he's healing people over their health, he gives them a shield. That's kind of like his bread and butter thing, which is awesome, because he's part of the Northerner faction. A lot of Northerners have synergies with shielding, and he just tacks on top of that, gives people shields as well when he overheals them. That's what his passive is also about. Anytime he heals people excess over their HP, it's converted into a shield, which is super duper nice. His awakens kind of follow the same thing, where he just randomly grants shields with his first awaken. I'm not sure how awakened ours is right now. It might not be awakened at all. This might just be our second copy of Vortex here. I don't know. But flat HP, that's great. It just helps boost those healing a little bit better. Healing people on platform tiles is 20% more effective. That's awesome. That's just good. Faster rage regen is nice. He does have a very slow ultimate build-up, so that's kind of like his big downfall. So getting a little extra rage regen is never a bad deal. And then his last deal here is the healing ripple shield absorbs 10% more damage. So essentially, very solid healer, but also gives you shields, and those shields can help you cheese certain things. Where normally you might die from an attack because it would do 100% of your health, he can make sure you actually have technically over 100% of your health and not die from those. So, very good hero, definitely worth looking into. Lightlock, won't waste a ton of time on him. He got kind of nerfed way back in the day. He used to be kind of like a damage-dealing healer, but now, I mean, that ult comes back like lightning fast. Like, he's going to cast that pretty much immediately over and over again. But he's essentially a stacking healer, so if you have him healing one person, he boosts his attack by quite a bit. It's going to just keep stacking up, and he heals even harder because he's an attack-based healer. Overall, I would say he's a pretty average dude. Generally, you're not going to want to utilize him unless he's like your only attack-based healer, or you're in a faction trial, where you do need to be doing this. Oh, this reminds me. Haha, I'm glad that pop-up popped up. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to look at Azoth again. We're going to back out of this just for a quick boomski, and we're going to grab our quests. Because I forget this every time. It's not going to matter here, but I'm just going to do it because now I can remember. Let's get all that done. Because if I don't, I'll forget about it, and I wait like an extra week to grab 10 summons. It's annoying. But, there we go. Let's jump back into the crazy banner, drop another 10 piece. We're what? 50 summons in now? Looking like an all blue, but there's no complaining about that. We just pulled 4 purples and 1 10, so, you know, don't be too greedy, right? That's the moral of the story. Don't be too greedy. Here we go, looks like we got ourselves a legendary. 60 summons in. I wonder who it's going to be. Got ourselves a Scorch and a Crack. He's kind of like a meme. Most people don't like Crack. I can see why. He seems to be not a super great hero, so we're not going to waste a ton of time talking about him. I guess if you don't have any legendary marksman, he's something. He has kind of an odd attack range. He doesn't attack to his sides, only in front, which is a little bit weird. I believe it does get a slight bit better, but it's still, like, it's just, right? That's not good. That's ugly. That's not great. It is an AoE attack, so he does have some AoE utility there. Which is, I guess, okay. Naturally ignores 15% of the target's defenses. That's alright. He has a chance to misfire, which I think, yeah, just knocks his rage regen down to 0, so he doesn't get ults back very fast. All in all, pretty dookie. And look at that, 22 cost for this. That's insane. That is absolutely bonkers. But yeah, so not a great hero. Kind of surprising that we would grab one. Just kidding, not surprising at all. But we did get another Scorch. I do kind of probably want to build him. I'm not sure if he'll be good for Gear Raid 1 or not. But he is an AoE magic damage dealer, and we are going to need some serious help to take down stage 19 plus on an Epics only account, so he maybe end up somebody that we build just because he has that nice attack range. He does do AoE damage, which is great, and he has a decent amount of attack boosting for himself, so that's pretty nice. His awakens also kind of play into that. When he pops his ult, what's his ult's cost, by the way? 800, so down to 700. It's not too bad of an ult. You'll get that back relatively fast, especially if he's being attacked. But Knocking back the damage he receives when he's popping his ult is pretty nice. Flat attack boost is great, but also if he's attacking more than 2 enemies, he gains a 10% attack boost. That's great. A lot of his attacks, or a lot of his passives, are dedicated to giving him more attack. So that's good. I can get behind that. Some penetration, never a bad thing. And if he's not blocking the unit, he does 10% extra damage. So all in all, I think he could be something for the team. Obviously, if you're running legendary heroes, I would say he's probably not worth building. But for me, he is also part of the Infernal, so he is actually a ground-based hero for the Infernal team. Would be nice for the faction trials. But let's jump back in, drop another 10-piece. So glad we got a crack. I don't know if it's croc or crack, but I don't know. Either way, it's not super great. There we go, it's Salil. She is someone I'm definitely going to build. My idea for here, so we're going to look at her real quick. She starts out like a normal mage, just magic damage to one enemy, but her passive here actually converts her attack into a longer time. It takes a little bit longer to pop out, but it turns it into 2 consecutive attacks, and those attacks actually hit pretty hard, right? So it's 96% damage, 2 fireballs, so pretty much almost double damage for a single target attack, which is pretty nice. Her ultimate is a bounce, so it's similar to how Voltus's attack works. Obviously a bit higher scaling on it. It does last for a good while. And it's not too crazy expensive. It's a 900 cost, so it's up there, but it's not too insane. But the main thing that I like about her is when you get to her final awaken, we'll get there. I'm not really even sure about this. Let's talk about this for a second. The Vibrant Flames cooldown minus 30%. It's an ultimate skill, so I don't know if that just means it takes 30% less rage to get. I'm not sure. This is very confusing wording. It could definitely be reworded to make more sense because my brain isn't really grabbing onto that. Being it's an ultimate, it shouldn't even have a cooldown outside of, you know, the rage that it takes to get it. So I'm not sure if that just means 30% less rage required for the ultimate. If so, that's great. A little confusing for my small brain. Percent-based attack boost, that's great. Love to see it. Her attack interval minus 10%, so she attacks a little bit faster, makes up for some of that 30% attack interval she loses to gain 2 attacks, which is nice. Some crit rate, 8% crit rate, which is also pretty, that's not bad. Makes it a little easier to build that 100% crit on her. But her final awaken is when she pops that ult, her bounce can now hit the same person, and it hits 2 more times. So that's pretty good, right? So her single target damage is able to scale way high, so not only can she do kind of AoE damage with the bounce, once she's awakened 5 times, that can turn into a pretty nasty single target damage. I mean, you're looking at, what, 145% damage that takes place 7 times in a row on the same person. So that's like what? That's almost 1,000% damage, and this effect lasts for 26 seconds. So she's going to be casting that and getting some serious bounces going on. It could be pretty nasty. So she's probably someone I am absolutely going to build just for that. I might end up using her for the little mini-boss in Gear Dungeon 2, because she's only vulnerable to magic damage, and she might be able to just nuke her down very quickly. So glad to pull more copies of her. I do want to get her built eventually. She's not like a #1 build right now. Honestly, right now, I just need gear more than anything, but heroes are also nice, right? Heroes are fun to get. So another Azoth. This dude's got like a 4,000% drop rate. I think he is the most common hero in the game. We have like, we'll look at how many copies we have after this. It's probably got to be like 12 or so at this point. It's insane. Drop our last 10 pull here with straight crystals. Looks like we're going all the way to yellow again. That's nuts. That's 2 legends in 100 and I think 10 summons, or 100 right now. Who do we get? Seraphina. I think I actually, Jiggle Physics 5,000. I think I've actually sold 2 of her off already. I think we've already gotten her twice. So a very, very common hero. I'm kind of wondering if the Divine Summoning Pool doesn't have like crazy ramped up rates for garbage heroes. Not the Divine, the 2 times banners. So another Light Lock. We'll probably have this guy at like A5 by now. Eventually I'll probably build him up just for the factions to use as another healer. But I guess we will drop another 10-piece here, because I think they've changed it now. So when you do this, it also just goes ahead and pulls whatever diamonds you're missing to fill out the 10. And that's cool. I like that. It's a nice little change. Let's go ahead and drop that as well. Get this 10-piece rolling out. Looking like an all blue ski, so that hurts a little bit. I'm not sure how many summons I've done. I want to say that was 110. Right? Or was that 120? I don't know. I think maybe it was 120. We'll call it 100. We got 80 more to go, so we got 8 more of these bad boys to do. Let's keep that in the back of our mind. All right, 8 more to go. We got another Perpski. Love to see it. Love to see some Mauls, some Hollows, some Greeds. Greed must be incredibly rare. I almost never see Greed dropping, which is really kind of ramping up my ideas to use Soul Stones to awaken him, because I just don't see his copies drop. We do have Navros at A5 already. He's a fusible hero. In my opinion, probably one of the best early game heroes to get your hands on quick, because he does a lot of things. He does single target damage relatively well. It kind of bursty damage, and as he kills people, that turns into AoE damage. And his talent is just constantly proccing like AoE damage just over and over again. Is really, really, honestly, probably like the best all-around early game hero you can just make and get to A5 super quick. So really solid guy. We won't go too crazy in detail on him because I've talked about him a lot in the past. But since he is fusible, really, really easy to get your hands on, really, really easy to awaken. The nice thing is, essentially here, you don't even need to build him to 100% crit, because if you get him to 80% crit rate, he will have almost a 100% uptime on this all the time. So he will have 100% crit rate effectively the vast majority of your fight. So you don't even need to build him with crazy amounts of crit rate to reach those stats, which is nice. It just frees up your gear a little bit. Crit damage, great. That pairs very well with this first one. Bigger explosion range on his talent. That's awesome. Hits more people. Really will help you push the early stages of Gear Raid 1, just kind of smoking massive groups of people with him. Rage regen, he gets his ult back relatively fast anyway, but they were a bad deal to get him back faster. And then when he pops his ult, it boosts his damage by 20%. So pretty solid, definitely worth building. We have, what, 70 more to go? So we'll drop this 10 piece here. My brain is so bad at keeping up with numbers, right? So, yeah. This was not a great one. We only got a couple of blues in there. That hurts a little bit. I'm trying to math. We've done 2 with diamonds. I don't know. We'll just keep going. We're just going to go until I say no, right? So I think, I don't know, I've already lost it. It's whatever. So we've got a Imani. All right, Imani, I don't know, Imani, whatever you want to call her. I might use her as well. Just, again, like the vast majority of epic heroes I'll probably end up using eventually for something. But she's kind of like a deploy nuke. Like you drop her, she does a crazy amount of damage, and then it kind of scales back a little bit. So for my mind, this is nice for like Gear Raid 2, where kind of a lot of the strategy is dodging those golem shrieks and being able to pick up and swap in your DPS to make sure you can still kill the waves. So she'll probably be someone we have to use there. Magic damage, our first attack, boost her attack by 20% for 10 seconds. That's great. Once you've upgraded her ult, like all the way, it takes almost no time to get it when she's deployed. So you can pop this very quickly, and it boosts her attack speed and her damage dealt by an absolute ton. It's like 300 and something % damage increase for 20 seconds, so really, really hard hitting. When it ends, she attacks slower, her damage dealt goes down by 30%. I think one of her awakens actually kind of fixes that, but is what it is. But also when you deploy her, it boosts her attack, crit rate, and crit damage. So essentially, you put her down, she nukes real hard. When her ult wears off, you pick her up. She does have a regular deployment time until you awaken her, I believe. That first awaken gets rid of that weakening effect on her ult. Is it her third awaken? Yes, a 25-second reduction in redeployment time. So that's almost half. That puts her down to a 35-second redeploy. Fairly quick to get her back out in between waves. So for Gear Raid 2, I think she might be my way up to 19 plus, or at least will help with that. An all damage plus 8%. Never a bad thing. If she attacks the same target 6 times, it boosts the next attack's damage by 100%. So single target damage, very, very strong. Probably will end up building her specifically for Gear Raid 2, but there may be other areas like, for example, even Gear Dungeon 2. If Soliel's not cutting it, maybe Imani will work for it to kind of nuke that mini boss down. I don't know. We'll see. So let's drop another 10 piece here. I want to say we're at like 140 summons, 150 summons maybe. This is going to be a duker, so we're going to just go ahead and flip that one over. Drop another 10 piece. We'll call this 150. I don't know. Go ahead and flip those over again. Nothing super great. Drop another 10 piece. And we got some perp. That's good. That's good. We did get our 2 legendaries, which is kind of nice, even though we haven't even gone through all 200 summons yet. An assault. Yay! Very, very niche hero. You almost never see this person used anywhere outside of the Immortal Codex. And the reason for that is tons of different damage over time effects, right? It's got burning, it's got poison. I think this talent, if they're burning and poisoned, you get toxic fire, which is another damage over time effect. So essentially, this is kind of like the entire purpose of this hero is for the Immortal Codex. Outside of that, I would say pretty useless in most stages, but that's just me not having built one yet. Maybe once I build her all the way up, we can try her in other areas and just see what... Is it a she or a he? I think it must be a dude. I don't know, it's a lizard, right? It's a dude. All right, there we go, now we know. But the downside is, like, you don't even get to attack for 10 seconds, right? He has to wait for 10 seconds to make 3 attacks that he can throw out to wait 10 seconds. So very, 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 does it say 10 second? No, just 2.6 second attack interval. So I don't think there's any way to reduce this timer, which kind of sucks. But it said, like I said, pretty much you only ever see him in the Immortal Codex. Outside of that, pretty much never. So we're not going to worry too much about building it right away. That'll be more of a later game thing when we're really trying to push that Arbiter of Frost damage up. We'll worry about getting this guy built up. So drop another 10 piece here. Looking like all blues. That hurts a little bit, but it's not that big a deal. Give that the quick flip. So right now we're at the point where we're just a hair under, I believe no, right? We're still a little over for 200 summons. So we'll drop one more here. I don't know if that's 200. It's got to be close. Oh, no, we can't end it on a blue skis, right? We got to drop another one, right? We have to. If we don't get at least a purple, we got to keep summoning. Okay, good. We got a purple right away. And look at that. We got a legendary. That's why you do it. You never give up on a blues. If it's all blues, you do one more because why not? So we got an I don't know. Oh! I'm sad. My main really wants this guy. I've got Lust. I don't have Arrogance, so I don't have the Bond skill on my main account. Of course, here on the mini, we snag out an Arrogance. It just hurts my soul a little bit. He's a super cool hero, though. Really solid. We'll talk about him a little bit. But another copy of her, I think I have her awakened once, maybe twice. I'll probably end up using her as well eventually, just because she has some really nice crowd control, and she does hit fairly hard. Once you get this, like, upgraded, these crystal bombs can hit insanely hard. Did they change her? Am I on drugs? Okay, no, it's over here. I was like, what? I missed something. No, but like here we can look at it. After you upgrade her and get all these damage enhancements, if she's upgraded an ice crystal like 3 times, it does like 600-something% of her attack as damage, which is pretty crazy. It also freezes people, which is great. It adds a slow. Once you've awakened her up, I think, to 3, it now affects 2 additional targets. So it's got AoE explosion damage on it. Very, very solid. Probably use her in maybe Gear Dungeon 1 to slow down some enemies there, because that one's tough. Gear Dungeon 1's a really hard one for me. So she'll probably be something we have to kind of crutch to ever beat Stage 3. But Arrogance, yay! Alright, so Nightmare, Fighter, super nice. Able to attack air units, which is great. But he also attacks close units as well. He does swap between his weapons. If something's outside of his melee range, he will shoot his bow, and it burns. This is great. You can utilize him and, again, Arbiter of Frost to get that burn going on all the time. His Demon Blades, this is going to be his up-close melee attack. 30% chance to boost his attack speed by 40. Goes up to 120, right? So he can attack faster if he's right up on somebody, or you can put him back and target for a little bit of AoE, burning, or not AoE, just burning damage. His ult boosts his damage by a pretty substantial margin, and his ranged attack now turns into an AoE damage, which is nice. It's not a crazy amount of AoE, it's only 20% of the initial damage, but because his damage is boosted by like 300 and something, 360%, that still actually turns into be a pretty decent number. I think it turns into 30% of this anyways, which is nice. Also, it burns people, so bit of AoE there as well. Pretty nice, can't really argue with it. When he kills people in his Berserker stance, he also receives one of his attack speed bonus stacks from his talent. That's great. It also does AoE damage when the stance ends to up to 10 adjacent enemies 2 times. So a lot of AoE kind of built into that kit, which is great, especially for a fighter, especially for someone that can burn and hit air units. Really, really good, honestly. His demon bow or boomerang has a 15% chance to attack 2 targets instead of 1, and his blades have a 15% chance for double strikes. So that does go up as you upgrade him. Obviously, his bond skill is very nice. If you have Lust, he just gets a 15% bonus to his attack during his ultimate, which is just extra damage, never a bad deal. And I believe Lust also gets a bonus where she burns people during her ult, so they really pair well together. Really sad I did not get one on my main, but I got one here. Anyways, his Awakenings. When he's in Berserker stance, his basic attacks heal himself. This is nice. Anytime you can have a fighter that can kind of maintain their own health, that's great. The only downside to this is you can't time his ult, right? It's going to be on auto, which kind of sucks because you can't pick this when you need it. But either way, it's still a little bit of self-sustain, which is great. Crit damage, never a bad deal. 15% extra damage to targets with burning, so if he's attacking them from range, they're going to be burning pretty much at all times. So that's just an extra 15% damage. Pretty good, can't argue with it. Extra rage regen on his attack, helps him build that ult up faster, helps him get this healing going on a little bit quicker, never a bad deal. Also, when he enters his Berserker stance, he immediately gets his max attack speed talent bonus, and the first 5 attacks deal 100% bonus damage. So that's a lot. That's a lot of damage. Pretty good, dude. Definitely, it's cool to grab him. It's sad that it's not on my main account and it's over here. But we're sitting around, what do we need? You need 17,600 diamonds, so we're fairly close to 200 pulls, and once we sell off all these 3 stars we've picked up, we will have that back. In fact, I could just go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna though, because I have to pull all this crap out of here, and I'm not going through all that. So let's grab this out, grab 70 of those diamonds, and then go pick up our loot for the day. Then we'll go look at how many Azoth copies we have, because I forgot about that. Guess we got a quest over here done as well. Yes, we did. Nice, super nice. Let's jump over here. How far did we get? Oh, we got very far, but we did pull a couple, 3 legendary heroes, so that makes a difference. But I'm happy with that. Look at that. Look at all those diamonds. 7, 8, 950 diamonds. That's awesome. 5 5-star psychic powers. Be great for upgrading the team. A fair amount of gold. 800,000, 900,000, 950,000. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab all that stuff out. Bam! Look at all that. I guess I could have just clicked the button and we could have seen it all at once. But that's awesome. A lot of loot there. That's mainly I was going for the dust and stuff, but restocking 950 of my diamonds, that's a free 10 pull. I'll take it. And that should bring us actually right back to being, right back to being able to pull 200 heroes. That's great. So the next time we get a good epic banner going on, we're ready for it. Let's go ahead, though, and just real quick. Look at this chick, though, man. She almost has 70,000 battle powers in epic. That's crazy. And that's not even, like, in good gear. This is, like, just T1 basic level stuff. But, I mean, it's pretty sweet, right? Anyways, let's go look for Azoth. Do I have him favorited? I have not favorited him. We did get a third of money, though. That's great. Where are you at, buddy? We'll know when we start seeing the whole page turn into you. So we've got 4, 7, 10, 11, 12. So we have exactly 12 copies. We could A5 this guy literally twice. We won't do that, of course. I'll probably A5 one of them and then sell the rest of them off for his awakening materials. And I could use that. Actually, call me crazy. Let's go ahead. Is there a way? Can I just... Where's my sell option? Yeah. Let's go find me some Azoths here, and let's drop 4 of these bros into this good and mulch these dudes up into some purple business. Give me those. Yeah, I understand he's a high rarity hero. He's not that rare. Let's not lie about things, because boop, over here in the Awakening shop, there's a Greed Soul Stone. We can buy it. We can actually buy a Baron as well if we really want to start selling people off and get that guy awakened up. But I'm going to go ahead and buy this because why not? Greed, super, super good hero. He's going to be very useful for me. So I might as well go ahead and just get that done. Ah, nice. There we go. So we've got our Greed awakened. That's nice. We do have, how many of these do we have left? 7. So we could A5 him and we'd still have 3 left, which is not enough to A5 Wrath as well. And that's kind of where I'm just kind of tossing up, like, man, I really need, I need more Awakening business so I can get all my guys to A5 that I use. A5 Wrath is just really nice, though. That brings up his self-heal, which is great. He gets his ult back relatively fast, so it's not quite as bad as, like, Arrogance having to wait as long as he does to get his ult. His pops up really, really quick, so he heals himself fairly regularly anyways. But that just makes him so much more versatile, so much better in so many more areas of the game. Also, we got that 6 skin for him, so that's cool. But, there we go, guys. We have dropped, I think, 200 summons, maybe a hair more, maybe a hair less, I don't know. We snagged out 3 legendary heroes, None of them were too crazy, of course, except for Arrogance, which was a super nice pull. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button and show your support, and I will see you guys in the next one.